As an American, I grow increasingly appalled at the anti-Semitism permeating so much of our country, especially by so many students at our elite universities, which have become left liberal woke hotbeds fostering intellectual rot rather than critical thinking, and tolerated or endorsed by their administrations. It has sadly spread to corporate America as well. This weaponized prejudice has never been more on display than when university presidents from Harvard, MIT, and University of Pennsylvania testified on Capitol Hill with sickening smugness and condescending to that panel with an arrogance and dismissiveness seldom seen in that forum. They were asked the simple question, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate your policy against bullying and harassment? To be 100% clear, using the dictionary definition of genocide, the question becomes, does calling for the deliberate killing of a large number of Jews with the aim of destroying the Jewish ethnic group and the nation of Israel violate your policy against bullying and harassment? University presidents Gay, McGill, and Kornbluth disgustingly evaded Representative Stefanik's questions. It depends on context.
The rules around bullying and harassment are quite specific, and if the context in which that language is used amounts to bullying and harassment, then we take action against it.
But you've heard chants for intifada.
I've heard chants which can be anti-Semitic depending on the context when calling for the elimination of the Jewish people.
The answer is yes.
It is a context-dependent decision, Congresswoman.
It's a context-dependent decision. That's your testimony today. Calling for the genocide of Jews is depending upon the context. That is not bullying or harassment. This is the easiest question to answer yes, Ms. McGill.
Context.
Okay, I'll give you some context. While you were intellectually selling out, bringing shame to your institutions and this country, I was working with the Israeli consulate, viewing the highly restricted footage of October 7. From actual body cams of terrorists themselves, victims' cell phones, recovered from their dead, tortured, raped, desecrated bodies, as well as raw CCTV footage and other sources. Targets were all unarmed civilians, including men, women, children, and the elderly. Hunted, tortured, raped, dismembered, beheaded, and executed without mercy. The sexual assaults perpetrated on the women and girls was so sick and twisted as to defy explanation. These were not acts of war, they were mass murdering cowards high on the drug Captagon, while they celebrated and tallied up their kills like they were in a drunken bar game on a Saturday night. I was so sickened by video images I can never unsee of what was done to babies in cribs and young girls begging for their lives. I am changed forevermore. There is your context, Madam Presidents. Enough of what I witnessed is public, enough for you to know as you sat there smugly deflecting what had occurred. And you knew how traumatized those demonstrations were to your Jewish students who knew the demonstrators were calling for the same things to be done to them. You are leaders. You don't pick sides here. This is not about a territorial dispute. It's not about oppressors and the oppressed. It's not about religion or ideology. Any agenda that was on the table October 6th is forever gone. Conversation is over. How dare you sit there and play semantics with this congressional panel when you know what was done that day and what is being supported against your Jewish students? President Gay, you know they are stalking Jewish students on your campus, chanting shame, shame, shame as they impede their path to class. Yet you sanctimoniously tell Representative Kiley you could look Jewish parents in the eye and tell them their son or daughter would be safe and feel safe and welcome on your campus. No, President Gay, no, you cannot, and you know it. How much context would be required if these student organizations were demonstrating in support of genocide of all Asians, Catholics, blacks, or gays? I'll tell you how much, none. And you know what? There should be done. All of these groups deserve protection and the right to attend school without fear, and so do the Jewish students. What is wrong with you people? You know better. Is the problem that Harvard and MIT and others receive hundreds of millions of dollars in foreign funding, including from China? Who do you answer to? And by the way, I have professionally prepared witnesses to testify before congressional committees, so I know what goes into it. You said what you said with intention. None of you got caught up. We didn't get confused. You were so rehearsed, you all sounded like parrots. Every single one of you must resign immediately. For the rest of us, it's clear. We've got issues. We've got issues in this country, but surely to God, we don't stand with homicidal maniacs. Because you support one side of a dispute does not mean you endorse everything they do. If Hamas behavior does not cross the line, then you don't have one. If your representative or senators are lined up with the values of these three university presidents, you need to get new ones. If they are big social warriors for women's rights, but all of a sudden lost their voice when the victims were Jews, you need to kick them to the curb, and you know who they are. As for me, I love and stand with my Jewish brothers and sisters. It's Hanukkah, the Jewish festival of lights. And by the end of Hanukkah, all 8 of these candles will be lit. These are orange in honor of red-headed hostages that have been taken. Ariel, who is 4 years old, and Kafir, who is 10 months old. We don't know what has happened to them. They're still missing, but we pray for their return. This menorah is a reminder that light always prevails over darkness and good over evil.